travel options, but in 2017 we've chosen Spain. If you have any ideas of where you'd like to go 2018, 19, let us know, because we're always, looking at the books and trying to figure out where the next best place is to go. So please let us know. Central Holidays West comes to us highly recommended by our chamber peers. And I'm not going to read all the endorsements. I have a whole list of testimonials back there if anybody wants to look at those after the presentation. But we do have a rave review from Mick Fleming, who happens to be the president of ACCE. And I'm just going to read that to you. It says, the sights and sounds and tastes of the Amalfi Coast were spectacular. From the ruins of Pompeii to the sidewalks of Sorrento to breathtaking cliffs plunging into the blue bays of the Mediterranean, this was a trip I'll remember forever. The itinerary and personal care provided by Central Holidays made this one of the best journeys Barbara and I have had together. The guide was exceptionally good, earning a standing ovation from our fellow travelers. So I think they have a great reputation, and we should enjoy a nice presentation. And with that, I'm going to introduce, and I'm going to try to say it, Maria Jose Marino.
Perfect.
MJ, for short, who is going to take us on.
To ask you a little bit first, before starting the PowerPoint presentation, what are your expectations as travelers about, in general, about traveling, and especially about this destination? Anybody wants to? No? Yes?
I went to the Costa del Sol many years ago on a government money with a big gray boat. And we pulled into Malaga, and it was just a tremendous tour. I remember the key things I remember from that trip was, one was in the catacombs up on the cliffs.
Okay.
They had a flamenco dancer in a little bar inside the catacombs. Really
right.
Cool. And the other thing I remember and wanted to question, is the Alhambra included in this?
Yes, and I'm going to go over the program. We have a lot of slides on this, especially on this presentation. We have a lot of pictures and
we were able to go off the tour and
yes, that's one of the highlights.
Really impressive.
Yeah. So you have some experience on the destination, I'm sure. Yes.
What will the weather be like at that time of the year?
We were just talking about that. It's around 70 degrees. November, it's very pleasant. You can wear a sweater if it gets a little bit, chilly, but there's no extreme weather in Andalusia. So that is the area where this program is based. It's in Andalusia, which is one of the regions in Spain. The capital of Andalusia is Sevilla, which is one of the stops also on the tour, but your hotel is located in Torremolinos. Torremolinos is close to Malaga. It's 20-25 minutes from the Malaga airport, which is the city that, I'm sorry, your name? Rick mentioned before. So let me start by introducing you. Well, some people saw the dresses and the girls. That's a typical flamenco dancer dress from the area. Most of you are probably familiar with these dresses overall in Spain. Who is Central Holidays? Central Holidays is a leader in the U.S. group travel marketplace since 1972. We are part of, we have offices in London, in Delhi, in Cairo. We are part of the Sakara Group International, or SGI Group, which has headquarters in Cairo, Egypt. So we do have groups, in chamber groups also, traveling there. We are dedicated to revealing the treasures of the world from the capitals of Europe, and also Australia's Great Barriers and all points in between. But I have to say that I've been in this industry for a long time and with the company for over 10 years, and we're truly about the experience, and what we try to bring to the travelers is the experience of the destination itself. Okay. We are a wholesaler, and therefore, that brings a tremendous value for the price in this particular case. And we are very honored and lucky to be the preferred traveler company for the Chambers of Commerce. So what am I going to talk a little bit about in this presentation is Spain, about their people, people who have been already in this destination now. The Spaniards are very upbeaten, they like to eat, they like to dance, and they like wine and party. Sorry. In general, for people who have traveled to Europe, you know the time and the schedule in Europe is not as it is here. You know, dinner time is much later because of the weather, but also because people and families are very family oriented, so they like to spend times with their families. Lunch, they take time for lunch, and it's usually a lengthy, time, we take 2 hours, siesta time, so they can spend time during the day with their families. So that brings up dinner until a later time. So you'll see once you're there that the stores, for instance, tend to close during lunchtime, they open later on, and dinner, it's much later during the day. That's just a cultural thing. During this program, you will be visiting cities like La Ronda, that is El Tajo, which is an area in La Ronda. You actually, when you visit this area in the tour, you will be standing in this area of El Tajo, and you have the view of the other side. That is real, and you will have the opportunity to be there. That's Malaga. How does it work? You depart from, I believe your program has Norfolk as the gateway. You depart generally to Madrid, and from Madrid you fly into Malaga. So you will fly into Madrid and then fly to Malaga, this is Andalusia, and this is where the airport would be. Torremolinos is around this area. So when you arrive in Malaga, it's only 20 minutes from Torremolinos.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Did you say we're gonna fly from Norfolk all the way to Madrid?
Yeah, it depends on the flights, because you're traveling from Norfolk, Virginia, so I don't know what scheduled flight you would have, but generally you fly into Madrid and then Malaga, or sometimes we fly through Amsterdam or through Brussels, or even other European cities, but there's always going to be a connecting flight into Malaga. So once you arrive in Malaga, you will meet the Central Holidays representative. They will be there with the driver. There's always a representative with a sign for those who have done tours with us, waiting there, and they'll direct you to the buses and then drive to the hotel. This is one of the buses that is Malaga, near the port. That is the city of Malaga. You probably remember. Yes. You remember the pig, right? We stay 20 minutes south of Malaga in Torremolinos, which is a beach resort. And there you are. So this is the Hotel Meliá Costa del Sol, and that is exactly how it looks. It's a beach resort. It has been updated. Some of the rooms that I saw last year looks very nice. The dining area, the lobby, it is a very nice property. I mean, we use a couple of properties in the area of Torremolinos, but they are all on the beach and centrally located so that we could travel to other different parts in Andalusia from Torremolinos. You had a question?
No, just making notes.
For instance, those rooms don't look like that anymore. They have changed some of the decor in the rooms. They look a lot modern. But that is El Paseo de la Playa. It's in Torremolinos. You can walk. The beach is right there, and it's very, very safe. It's perfect weather, usually in November, to walk around. And there's a lot of artists that make sand sculptures. So if you get lucky, like I've been, to walk there, you can see all the artists either making or already the sculptures built in the area. They're really wonderful to watch. There's also bars all along, so you can, have a drink after dinner, or just walk. And the shops usually open late, so they stay open until later on at night. That Café and Heladería San Miguel, which is a place for ice cream and coffee, espresso, it's literally a block from all these streets are a block from the hotel. The hotel, it's actually on the beach. And Torremolinos downtown, it's uptown. So in order to go to downtown Torremolinos, you have to walk up. That's how it works. The resort is down by the beach, and you go up to where all the cafes, the gelaterias, the bars. Again, there's a lot of the culture of tapas and wine in the afternoon or in the evening with friends takes place up in downtown Torremolinos, which is uptown. There's actually an elevator, you could walk. It's a nice walk, but there is an elevator that goes from up this street. You kind of follow signs, and it's a small elevator, but for people who have problems walking or handicapped, there is that option as well to go up on the elevator. This is a picture of, anybody wants to take a guess? Yeah, it's a typical Plaza de España in Sevilla, and that's one of the cities that we go on the second day, I think, on your program. Although you can, those trips can change, but that is a must-see stop. Sevilla, it's only an hour and 40 minutes, I would say, from Torremolinos. So it's a departure probably from the hotel around 8:30, and you go towards Sevilla, and then you have all the tourists out there. They start by the park, you walk through the Jewish area, and then you go to you go to the Citadel and all the monuments.
Nobody's eating.
So here is actually Torremolinos. This is Sevilla, and it looks pretty far, but like I said, it's at the most, I would say, 2 hours drive with traffic and so on. You have Granada there. You have Algeciras, Tarifa, Gibraltar here, which is where you close to Tangier. Tangier is right here. And Mijas, which is another of the optional tours on the program, it's very, very close, 20 minutes only from Torremolinos. It's another Plaza de España in Sevilla, Plaza de España. La Giralda, which you see when you're towards Sevilla. You actually will be walking around this area before or after you go into the cathedral. The Cathedral of Sevilla, it's one of the biggest cathedrals in the world. I think the third biggest cathedral in the world. And it has a carrying capacity inside, so sometimes you get to see it before or after, but you do have time and to spend here and take pictures either before or after you go into the cathedral, depending how they're moving the tourists that day. That's the beautiful Cathedral of Sevilla, where, you know what that is? Christopher Columbus. This is the tomb of Christopher Columbus, and it's inside the cathedral. So when you go on the tour, you'll go around the cathedral, and you will have a chance to see it very close. In Sevilla, you have time to see the Alcázar, and you have also some, after you do all the tour, you will have time for, on your own, to do a little bit of souvenir shopping and having lunch before you go back to Torremolinos. So it's a good day. You get to see a lot during the day, and then you have also time for yourself to do a little bit of souvenir shopping. That's where they have all, you know, the pottery, the flamenco dancers, figurines, and the castañuelas. You know what castañuelas are? Yeah. So that's where the place where they have a lot of that. Is that what they're looking at? And that's the famous, who was talking about the Rock of Gibraltar before? That's been, somebody has been already in the rock, right? Oh, you went there? Yeah. So this is another stop during the tour. Can everybody hear me? Good. It's, yes, that's where the monkeys are. To be honest, I don't know exactly what time of the year you can see them all over the place. I've been there, I think, 3 times, and once it was overwhelming. They were all over the place, and twice they were on and off. You could see them, but not, you know, on top of the bus. Like once we had them all over. I mean, they would go inside the windows, on top of the drivers, and it was just, it's quite an experience. Do you have any questions? Feel free to interrupt me. I don't mind if you have any questions at this point on the timings, or you know what you see. These are pictures of the Rock of Gibraltar. Sometimes driving there you will see it. Sometimes it's covered on the top, and then you'll see it on the return. It's quite an experience, the rock. And interesting to highlight, you know how we get there?
Drive across the runway.
What is that?
You drive across the runway.
Exactly. You actually cross the runway. You drive across the runway to get into Gibraltar. It's a very interesting tour. Once you get into the downtown, you'll depend on the side of the groups. You board different buses that are smaller, so that they can fit when you go up the rock where the monkeys are, all the way up. Yep.
You go to the top?
Yes, you go. You know, there are areas that you stop to see, but you go all the way up, and you go into these caves. And you come out from the other side. Yeah, the monkeys are not inside though. It's just, they are outside all over the place, but they don't let them inside the caves where you go walking. There you go. The rock ape, tail is monkey. They tell you cannot bring food that day. I know a lot of people like to bring their power bars with you on the buses and so on. They will find you. They will find you. They tell you, they warn you, please do not bring food, do not bring food on the buses, they will come. We had someone with a bag walking into the cave, and all of a sudden, there he was, the monkey, you know, grabbing the bag, and it was because of one of those power bars. view. Yeah, that's gorgeous. Ronda. So I show you the picture of El Tajo, of that beautiful picture with that cliff there, the canyon there. This is on the way to Ronda. There it is. That's the main square and the city hall. They have what is called the castañas asadas. It's that nut that you can smell that they, it's a special walnut. Castaña, it's called castaña. And they sell it on it smells, the entire town smells like castañas when they are making them. That is la maestranza. Anybody here familiar with bullfighting?
Barcelona way back when.
Okay. So of course it's part of the culture, bullfighting. It's very big in Spain and some Latin American countries. It's that was brought from Spain into the colonies when America was colonized, South America by the Spaniards. So it's a big cultural event, bullfights. Maestranza in La Ronda is the oldest bull ring. So you will go there. That's actually one of the favorite places of Hemingway. If you read his books, he always talks about the matadores and the bullfights. He loved Ronda. Orson Welles as well. So there are pictures in the memorabilia of Hemingway at La Maestranza, as there is also of Orson Welles. They loved it there. In one of the books he mentioned, actually, he writes about the time where Franco was in the government in Spain, and they threw everybody who was against the government over the Tajo. Yeah. So they will push them down the cliff. Here. Well, there are a lot of stories like that that you will hear when you go there. The guy will tell you all these interesting stories. That's the view from the other side. And that must be in the spring, because I never saw flowers there. Yeah, I haven't seen that. This is crossing the river. You know that bridge? It's Puente Viejo. It has had so many names, but it's called the Old Bridge, Puente Viejo. You cross from that area of the canyon into this side, and that's the view. That's an aerial view. La Maestranza, El Tajo, the Old Bridge, and the Old Town. There's many areas. You walk all this. You can walk. Then you look over here, and then you walk. And the entire La Ronda is it's a walking tour. There's a lot of walking. Sorry, Angie.
But there's wine at the end of the day.
but you can choose to stay on this side of El Tajo and not cross the Old Bridge. Or you can cross the Old Bridge and then go back and have lunch if you don't want to walk all the way up. I did, of course, walk all the way on the old side of La Ronda because there's the houses of I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Salesianos. It's Roman Catholic. I happen to go to a Jesuit school, Jesuit Salesian school, so they have the main house there on this side of La Ronda. A lot of they have also carriages there that you can sometimes of the year they have, and you can take those. Paseo de Hemingway. Food. I mean, I just saw that there is no place where you cannot get, decent food in any place that we go. Even if you get what they call there, just bread and jamón serrano. You have to learn this word so you can ask for that. I will quiz you after the presentation. Because if you want a bocadillo, it's basically bread with ham, but it's the specific jamón serrano. Oh, you have to ask for a bocadillo. That's how they call a sandwich. Okay, there is, of course, I'm biased again, but there is no place where you don't get an awesome bocadillo with jamón serrano or any type of food. In Ronda, in Granada, in Sevilla, in Torremolinos, in the small cafes. Italians like to talk a lot about their gelato, but the ice cream also in this area of Andalusia and Torremolinos and Sevilla, it's fantastic. It's really, really good. Well, we have some pictures of Malaga, and I have to say, you do have some time to go free, to have free time, if you don't choose to go in optional tours. I believe Mijas is an optional tour, and Tangier, it's an optional tour. Those days are days that you can choose to go to Malaga. I, for one, prefer, because one of my favorite places in the world is Mijas, and I'll show you some pictures of the town. But you will have time to go also. Mijas is, Malaga, is the birthplace of Pablo Picasso, so we do have a museum there. There's a lot of museums. There's shopping. It's a big city. It's a metropolis, so there's a lot to do and to shop. There's also the birthplace of Antonio Banderas, for those who like movies. So that's Malaga. And on the coast, you will see, when driving back and forth from Sevilla, for instance, from Tangier, if you choose to go, Gibraltar, you will see golf courses. There's a lot of golf courses around the Marbella area, which are in between Cadiz and Malaga and Torremolinos. That's downtown Torremolinos, actually. And that's the place that you were talking about, the cuevas. Las cuevas de flamenco are typical cantinas where they are inside the rock. They're kind of rounded, and people just get together, Malagueños get together to sing and dance flamenco, which is, as you probably know, it's poetry with music. The special tour. So we have an optional to Tangier. Okay, Tangier is, as you obviously know, it's in Morocco, and you are actually crossing. You will need your passport that day, and you're crossing the Estrecho de Gibraltar on a ferry. It's an easy ride. Once you get to Tangier, you go to the Kasbah, and it's walking. It's a walking tour. You go through the Medina. You see you have all the vendors. You go to carpet area demonstration. They show you how they make it, the different types of rugs that they make. I love the colors and the smells of Tangier. It's beautiful. It's just a different experience. You will feel, like vendors are all on you. They're always selling you little things. Yeah, I see some places they are making China, but it's we We always go with 2 and 3 tour guides that are there. They are very nice and accommodating. You know, you say no, they will not be on top of you. You know, it's like no, I don't want it. No. They will, but then you'll have the other one and the other one. We go to a spice place. You can buy rose water. They have all this Moroccan oil for the hair and all these nice little things that I always buy to bring home. I love it. What can I tell you? It's a different experience. Yes, it is intense. You have to walk. And you have to go into little, Casbah streets, but it's wonderful. It's great experience. Absolutely, I wouldn't change it for anything. The Key West Hotel. That's an actual view. That's in the restaurant. There is a meal included on that tour, and that's in the restaurant. The sitting is, that's the Casbah, the old town. And then you have all the olives, fruits, all the spices that they sell. So you leave Africa. This is a tour where you are in 3 different countries, and although you're staying in Torremolinos, because Gibraltar, it's not Spain, and Tangiers is not Spain, so you actually cross borders 3 times while you're in Torremolinos, which is amazing. And this is my favorite city. It's a small town up there, 20 minutes up in the mountain from Torremolinos. It's called Mijas. It's an optional, usually in the last day, because it's closed and it's very easy. It has a lot of copper jewelry stores and a nice downtown just to sit and have coffee or eat. It's very relaxed. The view from town is to the sea, the Bay of Malaga. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's just phenomenal. The town is, like I said, we take you there for the tour, but then a lot of people that go with the tour stay for the rest of the day, and they come down to the hotel later on. They don't go back because they enjoy just staying in town. There's an area. There is the typical donkey rides, and there's an area of souvenir shopping down the park. And not to be missed, they have these candied almonds that they make and prepare there in little carts by the park. And you have to have them as soon as you get off the bus. Mm-hmm. They go like that. And those are the donkeys. Sometimes you walk by them and they're sleeping. I didn't know that they slept, they just, the person who's handling them says, no, you cannot do anything now, they're sleeping, and they're just standing there. And then they decide when they will put you on a ride. That's beautiful. There's little cafes, and then you just go in. Pottery. And that's the main plaza. There's shopping area here, cafes, shopping area up here, cafes, restaurant, and that's it. Very nice little quaint town. Granada, Tierra Soñada, they say in Spanish. It's a city to dream. That's north of Torremolinos, also an hour and 40 minutes, I would say, from Torremolinos. You'll drive by olive tree plantations, windmills, farms that they have a lot of now, sun farms, which are sun farms with solar panels. That's Granada. The Alhambra, which, Rick, you've been there, so been there, done it. You can go there, you will never get bored of going 1, 2, 3 times. It's absolutely fantastic. The walking is very easy as opposed to other palaces in other areas that I hear, for instance, in China. You know, the walking is very easy in the Alhambra. You know, it's a palace. There is no steep or dangerous stairs. It is very, very, very easy. The view, absolutely fantastic. There's always places in the Alhambra to stop for pictures. That's el Patio de los Leones, the Lions, el Calat de la Alhambra. And the Gardens of the Generalife, which actually these pictures are not, I mean, they are nice, but you see a lot more flowers on those gardens. It's amazing. This is more views. And again, time to relax. Who was asking me about the typical drink in Torremolinos? Quitapenas. Quitapenas means take the pains away, or the sorrows away. And that's a typical drink that they have in Torremolinos. It's like a thick wine, and but you know, it works. Quita las penas. What kind it's like? It fits the purpose. Dancers. So, how does departure work? Unfortunately, every good thing comes to an end, right? And you have a transfer included to the airport on return, either for the flight back home or to the airport for your flight connecting into Madrid, because this program has an extension to Madrid as well. I don't know if anybody here has been to Madrid, Spain. So it's not to be missed. If you're there, you should stop for a couple of days and go to Madrid. It's a beautiful city, lively. People are very nice. You have tapas. You can eat. You can go to El Prado. The hotel that we generally use is very close to the Estación de Atocha. Walking distance from El Prado, walking distance to the Reina Sofia Museum. It's very centrally located. You can walk all the street to see Vélez. It's just wonderful. We do have an included tour to the Palacio Real, the Real Palace, and a city tour of Madrid. Spoke a little bit about the Spanish people on their culture, the coastline. And again, what's that? Plaza España in Sevilla. You will find hundreds of pictures of all kinds of angles of Plaza de España. They're join the chamber to some pictures of your fellow chamber members. And there it is, some questions answered. The weather is average 70 degrees year-round. It does get hot in the summer, but it's not a good time to go. It's very crowded, this area. People are warm, friendly, and helpful. The dollar goes a long way in Spain, as it does in almost any European country. The food is absolutely fantastic. Shopping, and I did mention before to a couple of people, don't underestimate your shopping capabilities, because I've had people having to buy suitcases and bags, and then they are like, where do I get that? What can I buy? And where, like, oh, you know, you can always bring a duffel bag and fold it in your big bag, and you can, you know, check it in when you come back. It happens, especially, let's say you go to Tangier and you buy a rug. That'll take a duffel. Right. So, yeah. There's a lot of shopping to do. Ceramics, they go packed and bubble, and there's bottles. People buy olive oil. You make stops on the way to Sevilla, to Granada, and you have the opportunity to, you know, to buy olive oil and honey. They have honey, olives, canned wines, quitapenas, you know, all these things that you know. I had somebody went to Tangier and bought a wooden sculpture this big. Yeah, it was this big, and you know, like, you can't pack that. You have to send it as luggage, but there's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
What is the weight limit for the baggage?
Well,
What can you take 2 bags?
it depends on the airline. So once you have the airline, that has to be checked on the website to see on return generally what their policy is with them. Something like that. That's not usual,
Yeah,
but
no,
that has
just-
to be packed and checked as luggage itself.
You've got an extra duffel bag.
But at least you don't have to be, you know, getting your stuff and going to a different city, getting your stuff out in a hotel. You just stay in Torremolinos. It's very central, and you have things to do there. And you come back, unless you're completely exhausted, you just want to go to your room and relax. And I think it works out perfectly.
Are the places relatively safe for just walking around, especially near the hotel?
Very safe. It's very safe. Because people are out and about starting 4 or 5 p.m. and they stay up and about with their friends, having tapas downtown, having drinks, having dinner until late, 11, midnight. As always, you have to exercise caution when you go to tourist areas. You're walking, for instance, in La Ronda or outside, not in La Alhambra because there's a lot of safety, but in Granada, outside on the streets, there are pickpocketers and things like that. But you have to always exercise caution like that. Don't keep your wallet on the outside pocket if you're going to be walking the streets in uptown Torremolinos or in La Ronda, for instance, especially there because there are small streets and people are always walking next to each other, and you can have
The same,
yeah.
in the United States.
Yeah, so if you go to New York, you're not going to be holding in the subway your wallet on the so things. But other than like Torremolinos, walking outside at night, being by yourself by the beach, absolutely no problem. I've never had a problem with it. Many times. I've had situations with pickpocketing, but that's like I said, when they go into these small little streets and they put their wallets on the outside can't pocket or things like that. Any more questions? Any questions on any of the destinations? No?
Are all the optional tours included in the price of the trip?
Looks like on the back.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm probably when I get to the registration form, you'll see on the on the registration form you'll see the ones that are optional, and in the program you have the description of the ones that are included in the program, which I'll tell you right now. Sorry.
Do they have to be chosen ahead?
Yes, yes. The optional tours have to be chosen ahead of time. And the sooner the better, so that we have a count of people for the tours. It's always good. Also with the extension, if you know that you want to go to Madrid, then you sign up ahead of time, because that obviously affects your airline reservation and so on. So you have included the day to Seville, the Seville tour that day, you have included in the program. You also have La Ronda. And you have Gibraltar. Okay. You have the Granada tour, the Tangier, and Mijas as optional. Okay. Granada is where the Alhambra is. The one that Rick was asking. And of course, the Madrid extension. And that's beautiful Madrid. The included features on the Madrid extension, of the flight from Malaga into Madrid, the 2 nights in a 4-star hotel, the half-day city tour of Madrid.
So dinner's not included in that?
No, you don't want to have dinner included in Madrid. There's so many options in Madrid to eat on your own. There's so many restaurants, and when people always ask me, where would you recommend? Just walk the first plaza that you see. If you see a nice quaint, go in there and enjoy. It's beautiful. Of course, there is restaurants that are this is the Hotel Agumar that we use, very close to Atocha, which is the main train station, very close to El Prado, walking distance to El Museo de la Reina Sofía, the Queen Sofia, which is very nice. And that's the hotel. Cibeles, Neptune, the Royal Palace, which is we visit during the tour, the half-day tour. And that's the entrance. Esta es la Plaza Mayor. La Puerta de Alcalá. Plaza España. And these buildings are like that. Las Torres Inclinadas de Madrid. And they are built by, they were actually built by 2 American architects. Yep. It's not the picture, they look like that. Las Torres de Kio, they call them Kio or Torres de Europa, but they were built by American architects. Engineers. What?
The corner offices would be very odd.
I've never been inside. So yeah. El Parque del Retiro, which is the Retiro Park, it's also walking distance from the hotel to the other side. Like the Prado would be on your right-hand side, the Retiro is on your left-hand side. It's very close. El Prado Museum, and again more shopping. This is a restaurant. Those were dinner. A lot of people go here to El Sobrino de Botín. They are famous for their meat, sort of a pork, like pulled pork, but they have it's a famous place. Again, you will have the transfer to the airport after the extension to Madrid. Visas are not required for Spain. how do I sign up? I think you're all familiar already with the registration form. Anybody has questions about the registration form? We also have a online booking capability. So you have the website and the link to the program and the booking code for the program on the website. And I was just mentioning to Angie, it's very easy when you do it online, because literally, you know, you just click as when you're shopping, you know, what you want, the optional tools, the extensions, and so on, so that it does all the calculations if you want insurance, if you don't want insurance for you. And once the system processes it, you know, if there's any questions or any errors, it will, you know, it will tell you. Or you can fax it or mail, whatever it's more convenient. There you go. Insurance, travel insurance. We offer a travel protection plan. It is, the prices are there on the registration form, and I strongly encourage always, all travelers, individuals, group travelers to always cover themselves with the travel protection plan. Okay, and that's our booking, an online booking engine, centralhollidayswest.com/booking, and you use your code, the code.B00 code that is on your program. Back to Lily. Thank you very much. I think that's it. Any questions?
Do you have handicap accessibility on this trip?
We have handicap rooms, yes. Most of the hotels I've had not wheelchair bounded, but I've had walkers. You know, always with someone who helps. And for instance, in Tangier, that's a pretty challenging tour. If you're in a walker, wheelchairs will not be possible. Same thing with the Alhambra because of the this, you know, the way it's built. But you know, there are some things you can do, some things that you might not be able to do. But if they have always someone, you know, and it's not wheelchair bounded completely, then it's doable.
Is it possible to leave the return leg open so you extend your vacation in Spain and return, say, a week later?
There are deviations that are allowed, you know, as per the policies with the chamber. That has to be handled on an individual basis because obviously that changes the group reservation, airfare, and so on. But we do work with each traveler when there is a, you know, a special situations. Let's put it this way: we accommodate. We're very accommodating.